relationship, and if any of those people stood out to you, that's the intention? Or is it just to be, or is it completely like whatever happens, happens? You're just choosing this now because it feels right now.
Yeah, I would say the latter. Like, it's something that really is just, again, no rhyme or reason, but it's something that is calling to me at this moment.
Mm,
Um, Something that I'm feeling like, yeah, it just feels right, and listening to it, and seeing where that takes me a year from now. And it's like as I'm speaking and I was describing that experience before, it's like, yeah, my mind is saying a year from now, maybe, I will be hopefully and maybe be able to look back on my experience, and be able to see, where I was more resonating with someone or not. But maybe that won't be the case either. Who knows what this will bring? And I guess
hmm.
that's the surrender to it. It's like we can, or the mind can project something of what we can think may happen from it, but the true essence of it is that it, like you said, it just feels right for me right now. And so I'm trusting that, and I'm surrendering to it and seeing what happens.
I absolutely love it. And I'm so excited to see how it unfolds for you as we stay connected through all of this. And it's been so beautiful just to even see your growth up until now. Like, I've only known you a short period of time, and just to see what has happened for you over this period of time. And it is really interesting that I got to meet you before you went to Hawaii. And then I remember talking to you as you were thinking about going. And then now that you're away from there, it's just everything that's happened for you. We've been able to follow each other's journeys like in such a beautiful way. And I'm excited to see where this one leads you, because I can see so much clarity and so much personal growth to come about this. I think that you have no idea what's going to happen, and that's the beauty of it. And the one thing that you and I both know is that for sure, all the personal growth and what you learn about yourself is going to, you're going to learn something about yourself that's inevitable in this process. And I'm really excited to see what happens.
Mm, yeah, thank you. Me too.
Mm.
Yeah, it's truly one of those. That's actually a saying I like to say now too. When I feel confused, or I feel like I have to make a decision or whatever it is, I'm like, okay, deep breath, step back, and let's just see what happens.
Mm.
Um, Instead of making a decision right now, let's see, like, I kind of like, someone once said to me, people are like afraid to sit down on the couch and just eat popcorn all day. They're like, I can't just sit on the couch and eat popcorn all day. Like, I will be there all day, and like I won't want to move and whatever. And it's like, that's what your mind is thinking. But if you do that action, your body is going to want to move. It's not going to want to sit there and just eat popcorn all day. So
Mm.
it's like, it's almost like, we think that uh we're in control, but a lot of times it's like, you know, there's something else there. There's something greater, and our body is so uh intelligent and knows way more than our mind does. So a lot of the time it's that leading the way, and our mind's like thinking that it's in control, but it's usually not the case. And that's why when we are trying to control things, um, things don't flow very easily. It's almost like an upstream battle.
Mm.
Um, like that grinds, and that it's like it's hard to do. But like we were saying before, when we stop trying to control and we just trust, whatever's coming up is for us, and just like take a step back and say, okay, I'm going to let go on this one, and I'm just going to surrender to it. That's where yeah, no, like things just, yeah, will flow easily, and things will just happen for
Mm.
you very easily. It doesn't have to be a try and control.
Hmm. Yeah. What if it could just be trust and surrender? And what if it could be easy?
Yeah.
I've been saying that to myself a lot
I
lately,
love
and
it.
it's such a beautiful thing that I took from our course. It's one of the many, many things that I really, really took from that is what if it could be easy? I just say it to myself a
Yeah.
lot. Like it doesn't have to be hard, and at times it's going to be hard to surrender, to trust and surrender, and
Hmm.
as you work that muscle more and more, it actually becomes quite easy. Like there's going to always be
Mm.
situations where it's going to be hard and but the more you're able to push through those times and continue to trust and surrender through those is when you're going to move to the next level, I feel like, in life, where you're going to be tested more. And then you're going to, like, your trusting and surrendering are going to be tested more than the last time. But you have to push through that or conscious language, you get to push through that, and that's just where all of the beauty really comes from, and then it becomes easy. Like personally, I feel like it's quite easy to trust and surrender, only because I've been doing it my whole life. It actually isn't that hard, and at
Mm.
times it has been hard, but I just know that everything is working out in my favor. And I genuinely believe it. So it's easier to trust and surrender when I have that innate belief in life, in my life. And I think it's not so
Mm.
easy I feel very privileged to have been brought up by parents, and especially my mom, who's like instilled this kind of belief system in me. And for people coming from different backgrounds, it's a lot harder to decondition those types of, um, people who have the opposite beliefs that things are going to go wrong, and the worrying and the controlling, right? It's hard to decondition that, but it's like it's so
Mm.
worth it once you surrender. I think that first time, that first like jump of just like, okay, I'm just going to trust and surrender and make one decision that's in alignment with that. I think that's when the rest of it is just going to fall into place a lot easier. I think the first one is the hardest,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of on this subject too, something someone said to me this morning that I was like, oof, needed to hear that was you know, and I know this kind of comes up in a lot of people's experience, and sometimes we don't really like to think about it because it can be on the side of like grim, but it's like, what if today was your last day? Like,
Mm.
how would that, would you be happy with your life? Would you be able to look back and be like, I did it? You know,
Mm.
I feel complete, and I I stepped out of my comfort zone and I made it happen, and I thrived and I lived fully. I played all out. Or would it kind of just be this like, yeah, I kind of lived, I existed, I was here. Were you
Mm.
on the sidelines, or were you the opposite? Were you, you know, creating something that you didn't want to create at all within the 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 community or place that you're in?
Mm.
So yeah, it was just like this beautiful reflection, and I feel like if that's something I would like to take into my everyday existence now, of like, not only like how am I showing up each day, but like, if this was my last, how would I want to live? Am I playing all out? And it also brings you back into like full appreciation
Mm.
for just where you are too. So yeah, I thought that just like came up as something to share as well.
Mm. It's beautiful. And it made me think it almost had very similar wording actually to my surfing metaphor. And I think this something I sent into our chat when we were in next level, but when I learned to surf and I was getting my ass kicked by the waves and they were beating me down and they were pretty big waves for me to be kind of learning to surf on and it was scary being, hit by those waves and crashing and burning. And then, but I just kept saying, like, this is a metaphor for life. And at that point, I was getting my ass kicked by the
Mm.
course. I was in my I was
Mm.
in my lowest point of the course as well. So it was very reflective of that. I think everybody hits a really low point in that course where you're just like, it's just really, really difficult and emotionally and everything going on. Everybody's hit, I know you have hit a point like that as
Yeah.
well. And like that was my point. And so at that time I was learning to surf and it was really reflective of that. And so I felt like, okay, this is the point where I'm in right now in the course. And I was thinking it as I was, in these waves. And then I'm like, but I'm like, you're going to continue and you're going to do this and you're going to ride your first wave because it's going to be a metaphor for life. Like I already knew it. I'm like, this is a metaphor for where I'm at right now, but I'm going to continue because this is going to push me to where I need to go outside of this surfing. Like this is going to help me in my, life outside of this. So I continued and yeah, I rode the wave, my first wave, all the way to the shore. And I just, while I'm riding the wave, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is what's gonna happen. And I'm just
Oh.
gonna continue. And like it was just so beautiful. And and I actually made a whole podcast on this, just on this story, because I just felt like it was so powerful. And I ended the story with a question and I love to ask people questions at the end of the episodes just to get some self-reflection going on for the
Mm.
person listening. And for that one, it was so like where does this metaphor come out in your life? I talked about how it came out in mine, but how does this metaphor play out in your life right now? Are you struggling, getting beat down by the waves and feeling like you don't have any control? Or are you riding the wave and coasting and just like really reaping the benefits of your struggle? Or are you
Mm.
sitting on the sand and watching the people surf and thinking,
Mm.
I should probably try surfing, like, maybe tomorrow, or I don't know, like,
Mm.
and it's just
Wow.
such a powerful metaphor for life because really I feel like those are the three things that a lot of people you're doing one of those three things at all times.
Mm.
So it's very,
Yeah.
very powerful. And
Yeah.
the yeah, so what you were saying was really connecting with that. And I feel
Oh.
like so I'm curious, what stage in life do you think that you're in out of those three?
Wow. Oh my gosh. It's it's funny because I've been in all three. I mean, like just, most of us have. But I see so clearly, the progression of my life. And it's like now I am in this stage of like, wow, I am doing it. Like I'm playing all out. Like it's not comfortable for me to I'm still at the stage where it's not comfortable for me to put myself out there and hold space and be in this like facilitator role of like, whatever it is, ecstatic dances or teaching yoga or holding different workshops or just being seen in any light. And I'm still doing it because it's like I was talking about before, like my body is not letting me choose. Like it's like
Mm,
you cannot say no to this. We're moving, and I that's when I know it's like the right decision for me. It's like everything's just lining up way too quickly, and it's all happening before my mind can even catch up and say no. It's just like
mm.
I'm doing it, and I think that's the power of I watched this video once. Oh, you sent it to me. This was so powerful. The Mel Gibbons, is that her name? 5 seconds
Ah,
decision.
yeah, the Mel Robbins
Mel
5 second
Robbins.
rule.
Yes.
No
And I think
way.
that kind of like goes in alignment with like what we're talking about here. It's like your mind, once it catches up and figures out what's going on, it's going to be like, no, 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 we're not doing this. This isn't safe. Like you're just going to find a million reasons not to do the thing. And
Yeah.
so her rule was like, make a decision, whatever's coming up, just act on it within 5 seconds. Otherwise, if after that 5 seconds, your mind is going to finally catch up to what's going on and be like, oh, here's an